Hello and welcome to NARC Live on Wednesday the 23rd of June 2021, coming to you from Norfolk on the east coast of England with Tammy M0TC.
Hello.
And me, David G7RP. Great to see you. On tonight's show, your questions answered by you. It's the People's Quiz, new guidelines on the new regulations from Ofcom, and we find out who worked from a shack like this. We've only had one entry, and I'm not going to tell you if it's right or wrong at the moment, but if you've had sudden inspiration, this was from only a couple of weeks ago. We told you that it was one of the few entries from NARC members for NFD this year. So that gives you quite a lot of clues, actually, if you look at it. And what we want is the call sign of the station used who entered into NFD this year. If you know, you can enter it now on YouTube. No, you can't. Not YouTube, Facebook and BATC. We do different things for different platforms, and that's it. So BATC or on Facebook. Enter the answers now, and we will read them out in a moment when we get to that part of the programme. Anyway, great to see you, and you can see us, and we can see you for one of those times because it's interactive. So Tammy, let's have a look at everybody at home. How many have we got so far? We've got 7 at home watching on Zoom, plus we've got 19 at the moment on BATC watching there, and 24 watching on Facebook. So it's a good old group to start with. Hello guys, good to see you, and we'll join you later on. Can you just tell me, actually, I know that Steve there has got some questions he's going to read out live. Is any of the others of you going to read your questions live? Just put your hand up if you are. Okay, that's fine. Just so we know to come to you later on. Thank you. But first, if you're licensed, you should have received an update email about a week ago. In fact, it was last Thursday, I believe, for me anyway, looking a bit like this. It's an email that tells you that they're updating the information that they gave originally on an email of the 18th of May when they made the decision about the new condition in licenses. It isn't just for amateurs, of course, it's for any spectrum users. Anybody who really transmits, basically, potentially are going to be subjected to these new regulations. And we've talked about this several times, of course, on NARC Live before. But these are simplified, and in fact, if you follow the link from that email, you'll get to this web page, something like this, and you'll be able to click on various links and things. Basically, they have made it much simpler, and there is one specifically for radio amateurs, which they've made easier, and the calculator they've done. However, it's still generically for everybody, and so the RSGB are now working on a new version of their calculator, which will have such luxuries as many of the common antennas that you're going to have, and that sort of thing as well, to help even more. So I think the watchword is this only came out last Thursday, and the RSGB are working on it now. Now, I have mentioned this before as well, that the RSGB are working on a webinar, which is going to be on Monday, the 5th of July. Tammy and I actually host that for them technically, and you'll see me there with John Rogers, and you'll be able to ask questions and things there. Now, he's basically the chair of the EMC committee at the RSGB, so they're the ones who are looking at that. So put that date in your diary. If you want to know a bit more about it, the 5th of July 2021. We've also, by the way, got a talk on it later on in the year. You won't have to do the reporting and anything necessary, though, until the 18th of November. So plenty of time yet, but as we said several months ago now, lots more help is going to be available, lots more information, and that webinar there might be your first step for this new stuff. The other thing I'd just like to mention is that if you're a foundation license holder, I think there's a little bit of misinformation out there that it just doesn't apply to you. That's not true. Every person, every radio amateur who has a transmitter license in the UK, it will apply to you, these rules. What probably it means, though, is that with your 10 watt limit, you're not going to have to make any changes to your system, but you will still be expected to report on it. So if you're a foundation license holder and you've said, oh, it doesn't apply to me, that's not true. But you looking at all the regulations and things so far, you'd be very unlucky if your antenna system stroke radio system was affected if you're just running your 10 watts. So anyway, keep an eye out for there. We have got 2 EMC officers in the club, and they will help you as well. But I think the first thing is that everybody's shack and station is different, with your antennas in particular. And so have a look at all the information that's out there. As a club, of course, we'll help you along the way as well with our EMC officers as well. Now, Video cameras. Last week I mentioned these, and maybe rather foolhardy. If we can just have a look at that, Tammy. If you haven't already seen that, if you missed last week's programme, this is a little CCD camera. I'm sure you've seen these sort of things before. It's a video camera that can plug into most TVs with a SCART input, and you can watch wildlife, that sort of thing with it. And we've got them at a very special price of £10 for 3 or £5 each. I bought 80 on the fly, really, on sort of trust, thinking that we probably would sell them. I didn't believe at this time, though, that we would have sold over 70 in a week. Now, that's 70 people who've reserved them. Most people don't have them yet because many of you want to pick them up at our Barford event, which I'll tell you about in a moment. But it does mean that there are only less than single numbers, in other words, left. I think there's about 6 left. There's another 3 were claimed today. You'll be able to pick them up in different ways. We can either post them to you, but that's a cost of £3. You can pick them up from here at DCP, which is near Attleborough, or you could collect them from Barford in a couple of weeks' time. But if you wanted one and you haven't already emailed me, please don't put it on one of these 2 channels or something, or we found one actually that was hanging around on sort of Facebook afterwards. Don't put it there because we may miss it. The way to do it is to email me and just tell me how many you want. We've got the email address, I think, Tammy. Sorry to put you on the spot in a moment. But here's the... no, don't worry. We'll come to it later on, Tammy. There's plenty of places time for you to see it. But just drop us an email, basically, and let us know how many you want. 1 at £5 or 3 at £10, and we'll reserve it for you.
There you go.
No more promotion needed, I think. There we are. There's the email address at the bottom of your screen now. And thank you very much to all of you who've committed to one, because it's not only going to relieve me, because I bought them in good faith very quickly and with sort of cash, but also the profits from all of that will go to the NARC charity this year, which is the East Anglian Children's Hospice. So everybody will do well from that, I think. Now, talking about Barford then, we're just going to show you the slide that we showed you last week. I'm sure most of you already know about it. And preparations are going well, but as you can imagine, because the country didn't unlock quite as much as many of us thought they would, the Prime Minister's announcement a couple of weeks ago, it's a little bit more stringent. It's still possible, and just to reassure those of you who are concerned that I might be breaking some kind of rules or something, I'm certainly not, and I'm actually working with the South Norfolk Environmental Health Department, who are responsible for the Barford area. So that's how official it's going to be, and I wouldn't do it any other way. If at any time it feels wrong, or indeed if advice changes, because one of the things they've told me is to keep watching the government website, because that's their Bible as well, and things can change, then we'll of course let you know. But at the moment, that's still going ahead. There is, however, something I need to plea with you for. I do need some help, and that is I need 1 or 2 first aiders. As you can imagine, for this event, I'm having to do a full risk assessment as well as a COVID risk assessment, which are different things. And I do need to, at least 1 first aider. So if you're a first aider, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. In fact, for the record, we've never, I can recall, had anything go wrong, not even had anybody suffering from sort of heat stroke or anything like that. But I do need to make sure that I've got named first aider, or first aiders ideally, for this event. So if you can do that, or if you know anybody who can, I'd be very grateful, because we will need to find them. I have actually applied to the St John's Ambulance, but they haven't got themselves any commitment, any space rather, to do anything for us on that day. So I really need help. If you're in a local first aid St John's group, and they can provide it for us locally, that's fine. I wrote to the national body where you can book these sort of things for the East of England. But this is quite important to me, in fact very important. I do need to sort this out in the next few days. So I'm happy to organise this and put lots of work into it, but now I've reached a brick wall in needing some help with this. So if you're a first aider, or you know anybody who is, and is available on the 4th of July between 9 and 2 o'clock, then please drop me an email and let me know. This is the address, radio@dcpmicro.com. Don't hesitate, please let me know in the next few days, because I have to get this risk assessment and the COVID application in the next couple of days. Thank you very much. Now, back to NARC Life, And we've only had one bit of news really this week, but what a bit of news it was, because the Demolition Gang are back. You know, that gang that go around and actually help people most of the time, but they call themselves the Demolition Gang. I think the ringleader's Sonny M0SYW, and he worked with Paul G4ZBA and Chris G0DWV to take a big mast from Norfolk up to Scotland. And just as we ask you to do, he made a video record of it, and we're going to play that to you now, and we'll also show you what it's like at the other end. So without further ado, let's watch the trip for the Demolition Gang from Norfolk to Scotland in quite fast motion. Here we go. Wow, 903 miles they did there. Well, they said they actually didn't get pictures, but I sent an email to Gavin, who they were visiting and taking this antenna to, and he sent me these pictures. I don't know if even Sonny's seen this yet, or anybody else in the gang. So there we go. That's all the heavy work lifting done with their 900 odd miles. Wow. And then celebrating at the end, I think. And then finally, when you've done all that heavy lifting, there you go. There's some pizzas, and there's Gavin there on the right. I don't know if you know Gavin. You might wonder, if you look carefully, you can see that he's got a feeding tube and a breathing tube because he's not been very well. So it's even more important that these guys did that. Well, a great job. In fact, I've got an email now back from Gavin for a message for you. Sonny, Paul and Chris were great. Please, please, please give them huge thanks and praise from me. It was a real ham spirit in real tradition, he says. So well done to all of you for doing that. And thank you very much for sending us that video as well. Really good. It's weird because to me it looked like the weather in Scotland was better than anywhere else. I don't know if Sonny can confirm that. I don't know if you can quickly go to Sonny, can we?
Do you want to get a Sonny?
Yeah, if we can do that,
yeah,
can we?
Hang on just one sec.
There's a lot of buttons to press now.
Yep.
to do that. Here we go.
Okay.
Hello, Sonny.
There somewhere. Hiya, how you doing?
Good, thanks. So do you want to fill in anything personally about that trip?
Actually, the trip consisted of going from leaving Norfolk on the Tuesday morning, very early Tuesday morning, and we got to Lincoln, which is where we recovered the tower from. And that was John Butcher, who I believe was G3 LSA, I believe, who went Silent Key, I believe it was last year at some point. So with Gavin being a cam ham for the best part of his life, which is probably where we mostly know him from, the deal was struck, and Chris was asked to move the tower last year, I believe, but due to obviously Chris's Land Rover being off the road, he sort of passed over, and it sort of went round circles basically. And then Chris called me one morning about a month ago saying, "How do you fancy a trip up to Scotland?" And literally we drove up on the Tuesday morning and we drove back down on the Wednesday morning. So good trip had by all. The weather going up was much more kinder. Scotland, we left on the Wednesday morning and it was raining for the best part of the whole trip down the M74. And we hit the English border and the sun started to shine. I don't know whether that was Scott sending us a message or not. Ralph would probably be able to confirm
Ralph
that.
is shaking his head.
And yeah, that was a scorching 30-degree day the whole way down, and that was getting fairly unpleasant for the most part on the motorway on the return. So,
well, anyway,
yeah, not a bad effort. 903 miles in less than 48 hours by three of us. So.
Well done, Sonny. I know you do this for a lot of people as well. Not usually travelling quite as far, but we're really grateful for you and loads of, I know, your team, your friends as well, who help you with these things. So well done for doing it. Good on you. Thank you. We'll join you later on as well, of course, for the quiz. Anyway, thanks again for sending us that video. And as we always ask at this time, please send us your pictures, videos, whatever, to include on the NARC Live. I know you're getting out and about more, and I don't blame you with the nicer weather. We're getting there, aren't we? But you know, just try and remember to take a picture or two for us and keep us in touch with what you're doing, because it's really keeping in touch with all of your club members. And I hope that one day when we do get back together again, it'll be like we haven't been apart, because we'll have shared with each other all the news and stuff that goes on in between. Anyway, we now reached that part of the show where we're going to look at little people, Tammy.
Little people?
Yeah. So I haven't seen them this week.
Okay, here we go then. It's the sound deck again.
Oh,
I was going to say, isn't that like we did before?
We did have one like that before, but this time they're 10-pin bowling. It's bowling alleys.
Oh, isn't that great? I tell you what, you don't want to be getting those pins though into those little fader holes.
They look like little milk bottles, don't they?
Yeah, isn't that fantastic? That was brilliant. Thank you very much. That's Little People, and you can see lots of those at miniature-calendar.com as well. As I said, please keep in touch with what you're doing as well. Now back to the shack. Now let's see if we've had any guesses on the shack. We've had one email.
No, we haven't.
Have we had anybody?
No.
I thought this was, a little bit of homework, and you could have got it, honestly. I think, because it was kind of written up there. Anyway, the guess we've had was from Roger.
Hang on. Let me just put the shack up.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Beg your pardon. Follow the script, Palmer. Roger, G3LDI, says it was Peter and Chris at M0RYB/P. And there were no guesses online, so let's see if Roger was correct.
Roger was correct. It was M0RYB/P.
There we go. That was the shack. Quite easy, really, if you want to look at it. Yep. And the operators were Peter M0RYB and Chris G0TZZ. And there you can see a picture that Peter sent me afterwards, which just showed what it was really like on the whole situation. I don't know exactly where they were, but I guess it was certainly somewhere in Norfolk, I'm sure. Looked quite a nice day anyway there. So thanks very much for entering that. Now let's have a look at this week's shack. This is another new shack now. Who works from a shack like this? Quite neat and tidy. Don't know what that radio is. I think that's a
ICOM
756. Yes, an ICOM. I think it's a 756 Mark 1. I'm not sure. I'm probably wrong. Someone's going to correct me on that, I think. What have we got there? Bottom left, we've got a Torito radio, maybe 77s. Some nice, neat power things. In fact, the clue what can I give you as a clue for that? I tell you what, it's such a neat shack that you wouldn't have to go scouting around for anything there. Okay, that's your clue. Start for 10. All right, have a look at that and let us know whose shack you think that was with that clue. Everything's in front of you. No need to go scouting around for anything. And drop us a line to this address by 3 p.m. next Wednesday at the very latest. radio@dcpmicro.com. Let us know whose shack you think that is. Hasn't been used before, but a club member. All right. Now, just going to tell you what's happening next week at NARC before we get onto those questions. This is the People's Quiz after all tonight. On Sunday at 7 o'clock, it's the GB2RS News on GB3NB repeater. On Monday, the 28th of June, 28th of June? Wow. It's the Monday Night Net on GB3NB with Steve, G3EVA, and the good old Mardle again.
Mardle?
8:30, yeah.
Mardle?
At 80 metres, CW Net at 8:30 next Monday night. And next Wednesday, the 30th of June, that means the next day is July, doesn't it?
July. Yep.
Heavens, where did that go? Anyway, it's 999 Emergency with Steve, G3ZPS. It's a light-hearted talk on the history of public safety communications from the Victorian age through to the 21st century. Steve was a senior radio systems engineer with the Metropolitan Police until his retirement in 2012. He's a fellow of the Institute of Engineering and Technology and has been active as G3ZPS for 51 years. Wow. So that's going to be really good. A light-hearted talk on the 999 emergency services. And plus, of course, all your regulars, those stories that you're going to send us, those pictures of things that you've been getting up to, please send them, as usual, to this address, radio@dcpmicro.com by 3 o'clock next Wednesday, please, at the latest, so we can put it all together for you. And also, I mention it every week, and we sent one card this week.
Yep.
It's the NARC greeting card, which we can send to anybody you feel is deserving of it, with a birthday, they want cheering up, they've got a celebration, anniversary, whatever. Very happy to send that. Just drop us a line to that usual address, radio@dcpmicro.com, and we will send it to them with our pleasure, and add your name, of course, as well. So, on to our quiz, I think now. Now, The only thing you need for this, guys, okay, is a pen or a pencil and some paper, which I hope you've already got that.
Or if you're in the modern age, you could have an iPad with a...
I see. I'm not modern.
No, obviously
you're a bit younger than me, so that's why you think about an iPad. Use an iPad if you want, but I'd use a good old-fashioned pen and pencil and some paper. A calculator might be useful for a couple of questions.
But not Google?
No, not Google. No, definitely not. No, that's too modern. I guess if you've got a phone, though, you could use the calculator on the phone, maybe, as long as you don't Google anything. And also, a stiff drink might be essential for some of the devious questions that have been sent. And of course, the whole thing is just for fun. What's happening there?
I'm just
right. Come on, we're coming to Sunny now. We're going to Sunny.
Ralph has got no drink.
Sunny.
Sunny, you need to fill up.
And Ralph has got nothing. Well, can you pour it in? No, they're in the wrong order. Look, if we could just move them around. Can we move them around? I think we can, you know.
Technically, maybe.
Yeah, we can.
No,
We've done this before. Oh, right.
It's because I've hidden our picture.
Okay, we have to do a few trickeries with it. Otherwise, we could have moved Ralph to under Sunny. That would have been good. Okay, guys, lovely to see you at home anyway, and we will be reading the questions and we'll be coming to you all. If you have some questions to ask, then obviously let us know. We're going to leave them till the end, though, because otherwise we're going to get a heck of a muddle. We're probably going to get a heck of a muddle anyway, aren't we?
Yeah, we probably will.
So let's start then. Let's start with question 1. This is all just for fun. You need pen and paper to hand, and maybe a calculator might be helpful for some. Should I start?
You can. I've got this on a slide, the first one.
Oh, okay. Yep. We're going to put some of them on the screen for you, particularly if they're multiple choice questions or they're complicated. They might involve formula and that sort of thing, where we think it would be easier for you to see them. So here's question 1 anyway.
No, that's not that.
It's all going so well. Here we go. So, from Roger G3LEI, these 3 questions. This is the first one. Question 1. What is the window of availability of a LEO satellite? Is it 1 minute, 10 minutes, or 1.467 hours? That's question 1. Give you a chance to work that out, or write it down if you know it, or Google it if you're cheating, but I wouldn't do that.
Nah.
What's the fun in that? Question 2 then. Before calling CQ on CW, I fancy Roger coming up with a question like this.
Wow.
What should you check and do? Tammy, read the options.
A, you have headphones on and you have fed the cat. B, the frequency is clear and send QRL. Or C, you are not on FD8 and switch off your robot.
That's so difficult.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one it is. That reminds me, have you fed the cat?
No, have you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, good. All right. Question 3. If you use PSK, what do you look for when monitoring your transmission? Do you look for A, you have plenty of IMD products, B, you have no IMD products, or C, you have your microphone on as well? Okay, there we are. Those 3 questions from Roger, 1, 2 and 3. Answer them either with A, B or C, or if you put the full answer there, you can. Next one along comes from Dodge M0TTN. His question: back in 2001, the Royal Mint produced a £2 coin celebrating the signal sent by Marconi. But what was the official name of the coin? And by the way, this is question 4. So I'll read it quickly again. Back in 2001, the Royal Mint produced a £2 coin celebrating the signal sent by Marconi. What was the official name of the coin? You going to do 5 times, or do you want me to?
I'll do it small.
All right.
Okay, question 5. What was the signal sent by Marconi and in what medium? So question 5. What was the signal sent by Marconi and in what medium? I guess that is like the first signal by Marconi. That should mean, shouldn't it?
I guess so, yes.
Yeah.
Now a couple of questions from Gordon, M0HQJ. Question 6. Which of Dickens' novels did the characters Guppy and Skimpole appear? Question 6 this is. Which of Dickens' novels did the characters Guppy and Skimpole appear? Do you want to go to the next one?
Yep. Question 7. Which part of the body would you suffer a rotator cuff injury? Which part of the body would you suffer a rotator cuff injury? It's number 7.
Okay, now we're going to go to Steve, G3EVA, if he's happy to do this live. Ideally in the order you sent them, Steve, if that's not putting you on the spot too much, because we've got a script here to follow. So good evening, firstly to Steve, G3EVA.
Good evening, David and Tammy and everybody who's watching tonight.
Good to see you.
Got my questions on the phone here.
Love to see you as well, Carol. Hello.
Hi.
All right then, Steve, over to you. So your question will be question 8.
Right, question 8 is, how many time zones are there in Russia? How many time zones are there in Russia? I think I got that one right.
That's the whole idea. It's guaranteed to get at least one right.
Well, I've done 32 questions on my own. Bound to win. Do you want the next one?
Yes,
yet?
please. Yeah.
Next one is Norwegian artist, this thing's gone off, Edvard Munch is famous for painting which iconic piece?
And that's question 9.
Question 10. Which is the smallest planet in our solar system? And question number 11. Which legendary surrealist artist is famous for painting melting clocks?
All right.
And that's the questions from the Norwich team tonight.
Yes, it was sounding a bit like Eurovision used to. All right, many thanks, and we will come to you for the answers as well at the end. Some
I
of
don't know
these.
the answers.
Oh, well, nor do I. There's something fell through the crack. If you do want any question repeated, you need to ask very, very quickly, by the way, because there is a delay on Facebook and BATC.
Well, as long as they put the question number, then
yep,
we can
and
go
we will
back
repeat
to
it at the end. So if there's any question
Yep.
you just missed and you'd like us to repeat, and you're on Facebook or BATC, then let us know and we'll repeat them to you. Thank you very much for that, Steve. Now, Chris G4CCX sent us this question. The KW Atlanta is a well-known British-made transceiver from the 1970s, but it's an almost complete copy of an American transceiver. Which transceiver is it? So what's the name of the American copy of the transceiver that was called the KW Atlanta, which was from the 1970s? Do you know what the name of the American copy? Oh, no, sorry, it's a copy, isn't it? Of an American transceiver. So what was the name of the American transceiver that was copied? That was question 12.
I think
Oh,
13
yes.
comes after 12, not
That's right.
11.
Just testing. Right. From Richard M6 UES. Have a think about this. There's 2 points available here, so there's 2 parts of this question. Name 2 video cassette formats available for general public use before the millennium, other than the popular VHS one. So name 2 video cassette formats, the name of them, at least 2, available for general public use before the millennium, other than the popular VHS one. That's question 13. Do you want me to do 14?
Yeah.
I thought you might say that. Because this is question 14, what is NICAM, and for a bonus point, what does it stand for? Wow. So, question 14, what is NICAM? N-I-C-A-M. And for a bonus point, what does it stand for? Okay. Now we've got, these are from Bob G6PWS, who we have seen at home, but I think he rather prefers us maybe to read them. Bob, is that right? Where are you, Bob? Yes,
Yeah, he's nodding.
He's nodding. Yeah, I thought you might. I know why he's saying that as well.
I've got these for the screen as well.
Have you? Oh, good.
So,
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Save our embarrassment. So Bob sent us several questions, and here they are. What is this the phobia of? Do we have to read it as well? I can read this one.
Yep.
This is arachnophobia.
That's
I
question 15.
Yes, thanks, Tams. Yeah. So, what is this a phobia of? Arachnophobia. It gets harder.
There's a few of these.
There is. Question 16. What is hemophobia a phobia of? Hemophobia.
Okay. Next
You going to
one.
do this one, Tammy?
Okay. What is allurophobia? Is that right?
I have no idea.
Allurophobia. Allurophobia.
Maybe I should just depress us all at this point and say that apparently these was the homework for
Oh yeah.
Bob's granddaughter, who he didn't mention how old she was, but so we should all know these things apparently.
She's 10.
She's 10, okay.
Oh dear. Okay, and the next one is...
It's question 18. I'll help you there.
Yep, question 18 is coulrophobia.
Coulrophobia, I would think. That is all.
Coulrophobia.
Coulrophobia. But if I've got that wrong, it doesn't matter. You can see it on the screen. What is this a phobia of? This is why we needed everything in advance to put some of these things on screen for you. Now the next one That was question 18. This is question 19. What is this a phobia of? Acrophobia. Acrophobia. And question 20, Tammy.
Okay, what is it? Vestophobia. The phobia of. Vestophobia.
Question 21. What is bathophobia a phobia of? Bathophobia.
Oh, it could be bath. Bathophobia.
Bathophobia, it could be.
Or bathophobia. Depends where you come from, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's true. If you're
bath
up
or
north,
you're
it's
bath.
Bath, yep. Bathophobia, I would think that's pronounced.
I'll let you say the next one.
Thanks.
Okay, there you go.
Oh my goodness
This is
me.
question 22.
I did this, I rehearsed this earlier. Ophidiophobia. Ophidiophobia. What is that a phobia of?
Ophidio.
It's a lot of things. Can we just quickly look at people at home, or is that difficult for you to do? I just want to show all the clever thinking on 5. Can we show 5?
We can show 5.
So,
Yeah.
look at this thinking. Look. Nev was
Thinking
really
brains.
focused then, Nev. Yeah, we can see you there. That was. We can't hear you, I'm afraid, mate, but it was good to see all those cogs working. See, they are watching at home. Okay.
Okay, the next one. Okay, this is question 23. What is trypophobia? Do you agree with that? Trypophobia?
Well, I was going to say trypophobia.
Oh, trypophobia.
Yeah, because there's no there. Trypophobia, I think. But look at on the screen. So we don't have a pronunciation unit we used to have to call. Yeah.
You're my
You literally could.
pronunciation unit.
They were there 24 hours. BBC.
You're my spelling
You
unit.
could phone them
as
in
well.
London and they would tell you how to pronounce something or a place or a name or something. Is what they did. I bet they haven't got that now. Anyway.
Okay, number 24. Catagelophobia. Catagelophobia.
Not many of these are obvious, I don't think, from just
A few
looking
of them
at the
I
names.
think I knew.
Well, one was maybe, yeah. And finally of these,
Coprastastaphoba. Phobia, even?
Bob's laughing here. Look, this is just like
Coprastastaphoba.
yeah.
You say it.
I didn't know this was for you. This is question 25, by the way, everybody at home. If you're losing track or losing the will to live.
Coprastastophobia.
Coprastastophobia. Coprastastophobia.
Yeah.
I must be honest here as well. This is nobody's fault, but I started work on this about sort of 3 o'clock this afternoon. And what Tammy probably doesn't realise is I sent her all these words and then we decided between us a little production meeting to decide which ones we put on the screen. I'd split these up to make them easier for me to see, but actually they're all one word.
Oh, okay.
And Tammy's copied and pasted them, so there we are. That's letting a little bit of daylight into magic there. So because that's honestly why I did it. They should all be one word, but it was to try and help pronounce them. Sorry, Tammy, it wasn't your
should have perhaps
fault.
said that on the first one.
Well, when we were still rehearsing this thing about 7:15 tonight. So anyway, all right.
Okay.
Anyway, Bob, thanks for those. Yeah, thanks. And a couple of other general questions he sent. So listen to this. This is serious now. Question 26. If you dug a hole through the centre of the Earth, starting from Wellington in New Zealand, which European country would you end up in? So imagine a hole straight through the middle of the Earth from Wellington in New Zealand. Which European country would you end up in?
I'm just going to look at the globe. Hang on a minute.
All right, get a drill out or something, yeah. You want to do the next one?
Yep. Okay, question 27. In 1535, Henry VIII introduced a new tax in England. What was it for? So in 1535, Henry VIII introduced a new tax in England. What for?
Question 28. What is the correct term for a question mark immediately followed by an exclamation mark? I certainly do that sometimes, but I didn't know there was a name for it, but there is.
I did know there was a name for it, but
You did?
I have heard of that
Really?
before, yeah, but I wouldn't have remembered what it was.
So this is question 28. What is the correct term for a question mark immediately followed by an exclamation mark? Over to you.
Okay, 29. The average person does what 13 times a day?
What?
29. The average person does what 13 times a day?
Right, Ralph, he's got his thumbs up there. Does he know? We're not giving any clues here, are we?
No.
I hope not.
It just tickled
And this
me.
is the one that Bob dares me to do, because I didn't understand it the first time. I've got a... It only works when you read it out loud. Okay. If a centipede is a bucketful, how much is a precipice? I hope I've read that sort of right. If a centipede is a bucketful, how much is a precipice? Precipice. Precipice. Maybe I should say it like that. Precipice. Sort of a fun question, that one.
I don't get it. I've got the answer in front of me and I don't get it.
I know. It was difficult. I had to send him an email and say, what was this about? But anyway.
Okay.
All right. So that was question 30. So question 31. Now we're on to Tony's clues now. So we have got these, because these are multiple choice. I think we've got Tony at home as well. So let's see, where are we? Question 31. Have we got these, Tammy?
Yep, we've got
Please?
these. Okay, here's the first one.
I don't know, does Tony want to read these out? We could bring the audio in, can't we?
If Tony wants to.
Yeah, Tony, would you like to read these? Just nod if you would like to. They're all on the screen. Okay, you'll need to unmute, or we'll need to unmute you, please. And then
Really, no.
Not really.
You don't want to. Okay, that's
then.
fine.
All right then, Tony,
No
sorry.
problem.
All right, we'll read these for you then. These are from Tony M0TDK. I must say, the most professionally presented questions. I could have given this like an exam to people because they were written in the form of the RSGB exams, and the questions were the answers rather were separate as well. Anyway, here we go. This is question 31. When was the pocket scientific calculator first widely available? When was the pocket scientific calculator first widely available? Question 31.
Okay, question 32. Decibels are logarithmic measurement scale. Who first invented logarithms? Was it A. Archimedes in 214 BC? B. William Scarlett in 1114? I should just say 1114 really, shouldn't I? C. John Napier in 1614, or D. Albert Einstein in 1914.
That's question
32.
Question 33.
Hang on, question 33.
More of a radio question now. Question 33. If you transmit using 10 watts, how many S points down would you expect this to be compared to 400 watts? So if you transmit using 10 watts, how many S points down would you expect this to be compared to 400 watts? Is it A, about 1, B, 2 and a bit, C, 3, or D, 4.75? And that was question 33.
Okay. Question 34. If you buy an antenna which the manufacturer claims is 3 dBd and you feed it with 100 watts from an almost lossless feeder, How many watts would you expect to be transmitting? CW, obviously. Is it A, 300 watts, B, 200 watts, C, 100 watts, or D, less than 100 watts?
Can I just ask you a question that's sort of relevant but not?
Yeah.
Are you... I've just got to be careful I don't give any answers here. Referring to a question earlier, have you got arachnophobia?
Why?
That's all right. If you know what that answer is at home, you'll see why we've got a monitor here amongst about 10, which is if you've got arachnophobia. Anyway, right, let's go on to the next question. Then question 35. Engineers designing Concorde or the Apollo space program did not have PCs. So what did they use for desktop calculations? Was it A, an abacus, B, a slide rule, C, Copacan, or D, a chessboard? Engineers designing Concorde or the Apollo space program did not have PCs, so what did they use for desktop calculations? A, an abacus, B, a slide rule, C, Copacan, or D, a chessboard? That's question 35.
Okay, question 36. What is the Roman numeral for 50? Is it A, V, B, N, C, L, or D, none of those? So what is the Roman numeral for 50?
Okay, question 37. Is this similar? But what is the Roman numeral for 0? Is it A, D, B, Z, C, L, or D, none of the above? What is the Roman numeral for 0? Is it D, Z, L, or none of the above? That's question 37.
Okay, question 38. If you fired an arrow straight up in the air and assuming there was no wind, where would you expect the arrow to land? Is it A, on your head, B, west of you, C, east of you, or D, southeast of you? So if you fired an arrow straight up in the air and assuming there was no wind, where would you expect the arrow to land?
Why do I keep thinking risk assessments when I see that? It's because it's all in my head at the moment. Okay, that was question 38. Question 39. You are on the ISS and have your golf clubs with you. If you drove a ball straight downwards towards Earth, would it A, go down to the surface of the Earth, B, accelerate and climb into a higher orbit, C, slow down and then come back and hit you, or D, explode? This is question 39. You're on the ISS and have your golf clubs with you. If you drove a ball straight downwards towards Earth, would it go down to the surface of the Earth, accelerate and climb into a higher orbit, slow down and then come back and hit you, or explode? Okay, thanks for all those questions, Tony. Now, next one's come from Ken M0KJW. This is question 40. Which American bridge has a vault in its foundations which was used for many years to store champagne, as it kept a constant and perfect temperature throughout the year? Which American bridge has a vault in its foundations which was used for many years to store champagne, as it kept a constant and perfect temperature throughout the year? That's question 40.
Okay, question 41. What was the name of the Greenpeace ship which sank on the 10th of July 1985? So what was the name of the Greenpeace ship which sank on the 10th of July 1985?
Question 42. In 1985, which vehicle went from launch to ceasing production in just 7 months? Think back, 1985. Which vehicle went from launch to ceasing production in just 7 months? 1985.
Okay, number 43. The term SPF on sunscreen stands for what? The term SPF on sunscreen stands for what? I should probably say the term Sierra Papa Foxtrot on sunscreen.
You definitely should.
Stands for what?
If Roger was here, he'd want you to do it in Morse code, but he's not. So.
I could probably do the S, but I'd be lost on the other two.
All right. That's question 43. This is question 44. As of 2017, who is the current CEO? Oh, have I got this question? Just read it. As of 2017, who is the current CEO of Ann Summers? Never heard of him. As of 2017, who is the current CEO of Ann Summers?
Put that one there to trick you, I reckon.
I reckon you're just going to... You'll be wanting to know if I know the answer to that, won't you?
Yeah.
Thanks for those questions, Ken. Now, remember I mentioned at the beginning you might need some calculators. Well, you might for some of these. Might help you. And these are from Nev, M0NFY.
I've got these on the screen.
Oh, good. Okay.
As well, these ones.
So here they are.
Okay. Number 45. Which is warmer, minus 40 degrees Celsius or minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit? So which is warmer, minus 40 degrees Celsius or minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit?
Question 46. Numerically, which is larger? 1 megabit or 100 kilobytes? Numerically, which is larger? 1 megabit or 100 kilobytes? That was question 46, and this is 47.
47. Which is the closest to the value of pi? 22 divided by 7 or the root of 10?
That's question 47. Which is closest to the value of pi? 22 over 7 or root 10?
Okay. You find me next bit of paper now. What number are we on?
Well, meantime,
Number 48.
Okay, you have.
Next.
Should I do this? Or
Yeah, you can do it.
This is 48. What is the impedance of a half-wave dipole in free space? Sorry, I should say these questions are now coming from Paul G3 VPT. What is the impedance of a half-wave dipole in free space?
Okay, number 49. I have a 7 megahertz dipole and no ATU. What other band can I use? Not me personally, because I don't have one. I have a 7 megahertz dipole and no ATU. What other band can I use?
And question 50. 6 dB represents plus or minus 1 S point in a receiver. AM. I'm using 400 watts and given S9. So if I lower to 25 watts, what report should I expect? So I'll read that again because it's quite complex.
I think there should be an I in there.
Yep, there may well be.
Receiver I am using.
6 dBs represents plus or minus 1 S point in a receiver. I'm using 400 watts and given S9 if I lower to 25 watts. Oh, sorry, if I lower to 25 watts, what report should I expect? Paul knows actually, when he emailed this, it all came a bit funny on the email, so he had to send it again.
I'll say it once more,
yeah,
shall I?
Yeah.
So 6 dB represents plus or minus 1 S point in a receiver. I'm using 400 watts and given S9. If I lower to 25 watts, what report should I expect?
Now, appropriately enough, this has come to my one and only question in all this. You won't be surprised the sort of question it is, really. From the 1970s, what was the company CPU Limited better known as? From the 1970s, what was the company CPU Limited better known as? And that is question 51.
Okay, question 52. Oh, this is from Kevin M0UJD. So 52. The Americans have an extra band to us that they call the 1.25 meter band. What is the frequency of it? So the Americans have an extra band to us that they call 1.25 meter band. What is the frequency of it?
How are you doing? Question 53. The 4 meter band is now more popular than ever, especially in our area. But what is the FM calling frequency? So what is the FM calling frequency of the 4 meter band? This is question 53.
Okay. Question 54. What frequency is the 13 centimeter band? What frequency is the 13 centimeter band? Okay.
Now questions from Jim G3YLA. He asks, what is the summer solstice? What is the summer solstice? And there's a couple of answers that you can give for this. So what do you think of as the summer solstice? Actually, Jim is there, isn't he? I don't know if you... Jim, would you like to read these questions yourself, or would you happy for us to? No, he's shaking his head. Okay. All right.
That was question 55.
We'll come to them later to see how they've done, though.
Yeah, we will.
They think they're safe,
yeah,
but they're not.
Okay, question 56. What date was the summer solstice this year? What date was the summer solstice this year?
Question 57. What is meteorological summer? Or maybe we should say, when is meteorological summer? 57. Question 57. What is meteorological summer?
Okay, question 58. What does solstice mean? What does the word solstice mean?
Question 59. What was the UK's highest maximum temperature? What was the UK's highest maximum temperature? What was the temperature? That's the key part of the question. A bonus point, I guess, if you know when and where. But what was the UK's highest maximum temperature? Question 59.
Well, it obviously is what is, because it still is the highest
It is.
temperature.
Well, yes, that's
It's
true.
obviously
Yeah.
a record.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim, for those questions. Now we're on the final stretch now, you'll be glad to know.
We've got loads of questions today, haven't we?
We have. It's really good. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
Really. I was worried when I wrote the newsletter on, I can't remember, it's Friday or Saturday. I got 2 questions then. And then we didn't have any over the weekend, but then suddenly they came in. Boom. And that was brilliant.
Boom.
Thank you. Shouldn't have doubted you. All right, so this is finally on the last page now, and appropriately, these are your questions,
These are
Tammy.
my questions.
Yeah.
Okay, right, okay. Question 60. What is the colour of an aircraft black box? So what is the colour of an aircraft black box?
Question 61. Which technology was named after the nickname of Denmark and Norway's 10th century king Harald Gormson? Which technology was named after the nickname of Denmark and Norway's 10th century king Harald Gormson?
Okay. 62. Which invention is often credited to radar technician Douglas Engelbart in the 1960s? So which invention is often credited to radar technician Douglas Engelbart in the 1960s?
Question 63. Almost on the last question. This is question 63. Which high-strength material, which was first used as a replacement for steel in racing tyres, was developed by Stephanie Kwolek in 1965? I'll read it again. Which high-strength material, which was first used as a replacement for steel in racing tyres, was developed by Stephanie Kwolek in 1965? This is a good one, isn't it?
Okay.
Last question.
This is the last question, and it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek question, but it's funny.
Well, it's not. Well,
So
yeah.
we're gonna do
It's
it.
real and true.
It is real.
It's factual.
Real factual. How many postage stamps are used to post a bamboo seat with magazine rack kit from China to Norfolk?
So
How many stamps? Oh, you said.
No, you say it. That's
How
all
many
right.
stamps are used to post a bamboo seat with a magazine rack kit from China to Norfolk? I'll tell you the value of the stamp.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It's 120. So that's
So it's
one
yen,
one
probably.
yen 20.
1.20. Yeah, if you want to do it that way. How many stamps are used to post a bamboo seat with magazine rack kit from China to Norfolk? That's the question. Though. How many? Not the value.
Yep.
Not the calculation or anything, but it's just to give you a clue if you want one. But how many stamps would you use to post a bamboo seat with magazine rack kit from China to Norfolk? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it
Is
for our
it.
question, which is brilliant. 64 questions.
64 questions.
Which is stunning. I don't think anybody at home had any more. Let me just... can we have a look at the guys at home? Have they either fallen asleep or they got a big
may well
headache?
have fallen asleep. Hello, everybody. Wave.
Any questions from any of you? Any comments about anything? Or Alan's falling asleep. Steve, he wants to come in there. Steve, come in.
The one here, I've got one here down the bottom here. It was the number 25, question 25. Could you repeat that for me a minute?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, good point, actually. Thank you, Steve. So a point for anybody at home now, if you're watching this at home. Well, we all are watching it from home unless they're out in the car park. If you want us to repeat any question, please type the question number. Just put Q something either on Facebook or on BATC, and we'll be happy to read the question again, and we'll come to you in a minute. So, Steve.
Question 25 is one of the phobia ones. It was
it would be.
Coprastophobia.
What?
The answer I've put down is Jamaican Police Force. Is that right or not?
We're not allowed to tell you that yet.
No, you mustn't be given any answers.
Right, here you go. That was the one.
I'll tell you something funny in a minute, actually.
Coprastophobia. Hang on. Somebody wants to come in.
You're suffering from it, Steve.
Oh, look, it's Kevin. Legend. Okay, so there we are. That was that question. You should join that together, that word. I let you into the secret of why I split them up earlier to try and give us a fighting chance of pronouncing them. Yeah. Bob is coming in now. Bob, can you unmute? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, if you say my question properly, if a centipede a bucketful, how much did a precipice?
Should have come to you anyway.
Yeah,
you know it didn't make sense to me. So can you tell it again? Now, hang on, this question in number
question 30. Question 30.
30 yeah.
So here Bob, tell us it again.
If a centipede a bucketful, how much did a precipice?
I'm glad you said that.
I know more.
I get it now.
Yeah, I know. Well, it wasn't easy. Look, they're all chuckling at home. Let's see them at home now. Can we do that? Yeah, there we go. They're all getting it now. Look at the Ralph look. Yes. The Scotch is working, I think.
Yeah.
They've all changed order as well, I've just noticed. Anyway. Yeah, there's still none there. Yeah. Well.
Does anybody else want any repeated anywhere?
Oh, look. Nev's on the hard stuff there. I wonder what that is. That's probably a real ale. Am I right there, or is it a Coke? Real ale?
Vimto.
Vimto. Sorry, I shouldn't have doubted you. That's the sort of thing I drink. Anybody else got anything good to drink while we're there? Looks like Alan's just going to get something to drink. But Kevin's got a Guinness glass, which must no doubt had Scotch in it.
Can we tell you're the wrong way up, please, Kevin?
Yes. You really should know that now with the number of stuff we've done.
Bob's on the water, but
Bob's on water.
Things.
Yeah, well, that's what it looks like. It could be gin.
It could be.
It could be gin. Anybody else with anything exotic? Tony, what about you?
Oh, Jim looked like he's on water.
Oh, yeah.
As well.
Alan's on his Stella. Jim's on, what was that, Jim? I didn't quite see that.
Water.
Oh, no, hang on, no. Mattershall something. That's cool. Mattershall Beer Festival. The thought was there. Right?
Excellent.
Good. Anyway, thank you for joining us again at home. Has anybody asked for any questions to be repeated? Someone's put 7.3, but I reckon that's not the question. Oh, hottest temperature. We've been asked a direct question by Nev. Hottest temperature,
I think
F or C?
I think that was one of Nev's questions, actually.
Did we have to specify what?
Question 45.
Question 45.
Yeah, question 45.
Okay. Oh, yes. Which is warmer, minus 40 degrees Celsius or minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
That was copied and pasted, Nev. Is that right? Was that hottest day temperature? Oh, the hottest day temperature. I guess that would be in Celsius. I know, that was Jim's question.
Ah, right, okay.
Sorry. That was in Celsius, please. Question 59, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Wonderful technology, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I hope you've all had fun with the questions.
Got to see if I can count.
Tom's got brandy for a change, he says.
Oh, excellent.
Mike says, good evening, all quizzes. Let's just have a look and give everybody a little name check. Victor's watching and says, little people very neat. And John says, 71 years old on Friday the 25th. Getting old, he said.
Oh.
Oh, and I feel getting old. Well, happy birthday for Friday, John.
Yep. Happy birthday.
Camera down. I don't know quite what that means, but...
I think maybe at the start we were a
okay.
bit
All right. Anyway, let's get to the answers of these. Now all our bits of paper and...
Okay.
7 pages of script this took. Well done. Again, thank you very much, seriously, for all those questions that you've sent in. Because without it, this would have been a very short evening and not half as much fun. So, question 1.
Okay, I've got that on screen.
Okay,
Question
we'll
1.
bring that on. What is the window of availability of a LEO satellite? This is Roger G3LEI's question. And the answer was B, 10 minutes. Give yourselves 1 point if you got that right. Question 2. Before calling CQ on CW, what should you check and do? Is it the cat one?
I think it might be, but no, it's B. The frequency is clear and send QRL.
And the question mark.
Oh, and a question mark.
On a question mark. All right, that's important,
Oh,
is
I
it?
see.
Thank you for telling us that, Tony.
We're busted now. You know you're not on.
I was going to say, I thought the actual
CW.
answer was D, all of the above, but...
Well, it could be, couldn't it? Switch off your robot. Yeah.
Okay. Question 3. If you use PSK, what do you look for when monitoring your transmission? It was B, that you have no IMD products. Okay. Right.
Next question was from Dodge M0TTN. Back in 2001, the Royal Mint produced a £2 coin celebrating the signal sent by Marconi. But what was the official name of the coin? And the answer was called wireless transmission. Wireless transmission, that was the official name.
Sorry, do you want me to
carry
read
on
it?
if you like. It's okay.
Which question is it?
Question. I'll read it.
Sorry.
It's all right. No, you've got other things to do. To be fair. So, question 5: what was the signal sent by Marconi, and in what medium? And what was sent was the letter S, and it was sent in Morse, of course.
Okay. Question 6. Which of Dickens' novels did the characters Guppy and Skimpole appear? It was Bleak House. Bleak House.
Question 7. These, by the way, from Gordon M0HQJ. Which part of the body would you suffer a rotator cuff injury? And the answer was your shoulder. Oh yeah, look, there's a couple. Look, we've got to get the movements now. Come on, we're going to go back to everybody at home now for an update. And there is what a rotator cuff injury would stop you doing, I presume. You could tell that I've had a few sherries now, and anybody's right.
We've got a question on here. Tom
All right.
is asking, is question 5 2 points?
Not really, I'm afraid, because I must give the due respect to the question setter, which was Dodge, and he didn't put down 2 points there. So it's the letter S, and it was sent in Morse. Sorry. So it's just 1 point if you got that right. I guess you could have half a point if you only got half of it right.
Yeah, go on, we'll give a half.
Yeah.
Half if you got half right.
Compromise, yep. Tom, halfway. Yep. Question 8. This is one of Steve G3VA's. Oh, Steve, we better go to him to read these, I think. Come on, Steve, get your phone out. Get your mouse out and all the rest of it. Let's go and see Steve.
We can't hear you at the moment, Steve.
There we go.
Good. I had to get the mouse going. I don't need to use the phone because I've got the answers written down here. Question number 8, how many time zones in Russia? And the answer is 11.
I think that's amazing, Steve, by the way. I can't believe that. I mean, the States has got about 3, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's so wide, Russia, isn't it?
Yeah, about 11. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It is. And the next question was one which I'm going to have to look at because I can't remember what his name was.
Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Your next question was 9. Norwegian artist Edvard Munch is famous for painting which iconic piece?
The Scream. That one.
Right.
The next one was which is the smallest planet in our solar system? And that would be Mercury.
That was question 10.
Poor little Pluto.
Yeah, oh yeah. That controversy.
Number 11. Which famous artist was famous for painting melting clock faces? And that is Salvador Dali.
That's question 11. So, thanks again, Steve, for those questions. And
thank you. I'll mute myself.
Pardon?
Nice, very good quiz, by the way. Thank you.
Good. Well, no, honestly,
thank everybody.
This is all down to everybody else, not to us. All we do is present the questions and read them, but it's all down to you at home. I was surprised at first that there weren't many radio questions, but actually I think it's made it broader and more interesting because of that. So there's a good mix. Chris G4CCX, this is question 12. The KW Atlanta is a well-known British-made transceiver from the 1970s, but it is an almost complete copy of an American transceiver. Which transceiver is it? And the answer, it was the Swan 500C. Swan 500C.
I'll let you read the next two.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's quite a lot here, but this is the sort of geeky stuff I like as well. If I can be rude. This is Richard M6UES. It was question 13 was name 2 videocassette formats available for general public use before the millennium, other than the popular VHS one. And there's 2 points available here. So Betamax was the most popular competitor, but there was also one called Video 2000. And then before that, there was one called SVC. And both these last ones were invented and produced by Philips. And before the U-matic, which was actually released as early as 1971, but never really caught on. Although I'll add a little PS if I may there. In television industry, U-matic was very much caught on, and most things were done on U-matic in terms of cassettes and things, and adverts and things like that. Advertising machines which play all the adverts in order. Which I think Jim will remember. I remember going around a tour of Anglia TV years ago, and I was told that that was the most important and valuable machine in the whole of the Anglia television, was this rack with some U-matic tape players. And the reason it was the most important is because that paid all the bills, because all the adverts are on them, and if that machine went wrong, then there'd be no adverts streamed out and they wouldn't get any revenue for that night. It's incredible, isn't it? Anyway, so U-matic was there. Often people think of Laserdisc and Videodisc too, but of course these couldn't record and were playback only. And there was also VHS-C for camcorders based on the larger VHS tapes, as well as 8mm and later on Hi8, both developed by Sony.
Okay, so I'm going to go back into that now. So the actual answer, you can there's 2 points you can have. So if you've got any, you can have 1 point for one, obviously, or 2 points if you've got two.
Yes.
But you can have any of Betamax,
yes,
Video 2000,
yep,
SVC,
yep,
U-matic,
yes,
or you could have the camcorder ones as well.
Possibly, he might allow those. Yes, I mean 8mm or Hi8.
Yeah, so VHS-C.
Yeah.
8mm or Hi8.
Yeah, VHS-C was the compact version, wasn't it? Do you remember tapes?
Yeah, them funny things, aren't they?
You had them. I've seen the videos of you and your brother running around the National Railway Museum, wearing a shell suit. I'll let you at home decide whether Kevin was wearing the shell suit or his sister Tammy.
Whatever. They were all the fashion then.
Really?
I've probably still got it.
Well, I never wore one.
Well, exactly.
Oh, do you know when you start to say something and you realise I shouldn't carry on with this? Anyway, let's get back to the quiz. Question 14, what is NICAM? And for a bonus point, what does it stand for? So there's 2 points available here as well. What is NICAM? And for a bonus point, what does it stand for? And here's the answer. NICAM was the first attempt at adding a digital stereo soundtrack to the analog television broadcasts of the mid-80s. Very basic, and prior to this, everything had to, incredible to think of now, been in mono only. And even at the end of the analog era, whilst many televisions could decode and receive it, there was very little equipment which could record it. Hence, most people continued to listen in mono until digital television started to take off. Channel 4 was the first channel to support the format, and it was thereafter rolled out to the other 3 channels from 1986. Yep, he said that's what we all had back then. It actually stands for, and this is the second part, your second point, Near Instantaneous Companded Audio Multiplex. And this is a bit, I really didn't know this. It was switched off for good in 2012. I mean, I think that passed me by somewhere because I thought NICAM was probably still a thing. But apparently it was switched off in 2012, I suppose because of the digital switch off, or the digital switch on and the analog switch off. Anyway, thank you very much for that, Richard, and for the education as well from it. It's really good. Over to you, Tammy.
Okay.
I'll let you do
right.
Bob's.
Here we go. Here comes Bob's.
We should go to him and make him say these
Yeah, we
things.
should, shouldn't we? You might say him better than us.
All right, let's have a go.
Okay, right.
Here we go. We're going to put them on the
I'm
screen.
gonna
And
put them on the
remember that they
screen.
should be joined up. But earlier on in my script, I split them up to make them easier to pronounce.
Okay, so number 15. Arachnophobia is the fear of spiders. And yes, there was a spider walking across one of our screens here, but luckily it wasn't on my side of the desk.
It wasn't. The worrying thing is, though, it's no longer in sight.
It's not, so I don't know where it is.
And we're in
now.
a sealed, cocooned room here, so shouldn't have even mentioned cocoon then. Sorry, Tammy.
No, we did have a spider actually drop on us from the ceiling one
yeah.
day, but luckily we weren't on air at the time.
That was amazing.
Because that was a bit of a
that was
shocking
big as
moment.
well. It even made me, and it made the keys. It landed on one of our Mac's keyboards, and it made you could hear it land.
Hear it, yeah.
And that was a bit alerting, and we weren't on air, as you said. Anyway, back to the questions.
Back to the questions.
That was question 15, and this is question 16 now.
The hemophobia is the fear of blood. Blood. Okay. Question 17. Allurophobia is the fear of cats. I definitely don't have that.
No, but I think the next one you might have.
I might.
In fact, you have got. Let's be honest.
Question 18. Coulrophobia is the fear of clowns. Okay, question 19. Acrophobia is the fear of heights. That was one of the ones that I knew that I'd heard of before. Okay, question 20. Vestophobia is the fear of clothing. It's funny because when that first came on, I was going to say to you, I wonder if it's the fear of people wearing vests. I looked at the answer and thought, I better not say that.
Well, yeah, that was the closest one to guess, but everybody's laughing at this at home now, look.
I thought it was matches.
What was that, Tony?
I thought it was matches.
Matches. Oh, yes, Vestas. I see where he's going there. Yeah.
Okay, the next one is 21. Bathophobia or bathophobia, whatever we're going to pronounce it. And that is the fear of depths, of either ocean or deep pits. So it's a fear of depth.
Ophidiophobia, I think, is this next one, Tammy, by the way.
Ophidiophobia?
This is question 22.
Okay, 22. Ophidiophobia is the fear of snakes. Yeah. My nan has that. She can't even look at the telly when there's one on.
Really?
Yeah, she's not that keen. Okay, next one, 23. Trypophobia.
Trypophobia.
Misprints.
Trypophobia. Sorry, Tony?
Misprints.
Misprints. I love it.
Yeah.
It is the fear of small holes or bubbles. Okay.
Oh dear.
Number 24 is catagelophobia.
Well done.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. And that is the fear of that is the intense fear of being ridiculed.
I've got that.
Have you?
I was going to say, David, are you sort of permanently charmed with that?
Yeah,
or is that just
definitely.
a natural situation?
Exactly. Permanently got that phobia.
Okay. And the this is the last one. Okay, so this is 25, and this is, I'm going to say it
This
again,
is hard.
coprastastaphobia. Is that what you said? Rastatastaphobia.
Is the fear of...
Constipation.
Oh, nice. Oh, we've really brought it down now. Let's have a look at them. Yeah, just look at them. Look at the faces. Look, they've got... I mean, Ralph, you've got a red face. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, maybe these things.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Oh, that's why.
Filled his
Ralph
glass
went
up
and got
now.
reinforcements in just before the questions.
I'm glad it was that booze and not the coprastastaphobia.
I've been straining at the bit for a while, but don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
thanks. Right, let's keep this clean. Cut. Just back to the studio. We seem to have lost the link to Scotland just in time. All right, a couple of general questions now. These are from Bob as well. 26 was, if you dug a hole through the centre of the Earth starting from Wellington in New Zealand, which European country would you end up in? It was Spain.
Spain.
Yeah. Question 27.
In 1535, Henry VIII introduced a new tax in England. What was it for? It was a beard tax. So a lot of people would have to pay that now,
I
wouldn't
was
they?
thinking Henry VIII, he had one, didn't he? He had a beard. Yeah, he had a pointy sort of beard
Yeah,
and
but
things.
he would have been exempt.
Well, probably. But he's just collecting taxes from himself, I suppose, wasn't
Yep.
he? Question 28. Now, what is the correct term for a question mark immediately followed by an exclamation mark? And it was an interrobang, indicating a question expressed in an exclamatory manner. Interrobang is that's a lovely name.
I have heard of that before.
Have you really?
I have.
It's a sort of QI type question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interrobang.
Terabang.
Right.
Back to constipation, obviously.
Yeah, well, let's cut. Can we cut the sound from Scotland, please? We're sorry, we have lost the sound from Scotland, haven't we, Tammy?
Yes.
Turn the fader down.
Okay.
Question. Oh yeah, I'll let you do this.
Question 29. Yeah, I tried to give this one away, didn't I? The average person does what 13 times a day?
No, we're not going to go to them for that answer.
No.
I tell you that.
And the answer is laugh. Although I think I've done that more in the last hour than I have in
I think so. Yeah.
in a
Do you know
day.
what Kevin was doing? Am I allowed to cheat then? Say what Kevin was doing. He went like that.
We said the average person.
Yes.
Not you.
Okay. And one final question. I'm not going to try that now. It's going to go to Bob now. All right. It's going to go to Bob. Live to Bob. He's going to read this thing because he can do it much better than me.
Yep.
Here we go, Bob.
Over to you, Bob.
Over to you.
If a pressy pissed a bucket full, I'm smiling.
Come on, man. You said the question.
One minute. If a centipede a bucket full, how much does a pressy piss?
And the answer is?
One sheer drop.
Right. It's question 30. So if you got one sheer drop or anything like that, I think you deserve a medal. Thank you, Bob. Oh dear. Never work with animals, children, or radio amateurs. I think
Yeah,
that's the answer
definitely.
here. Okay. Right. Question 4. Now these are all from. Not question 4. Page 4. I'm on the script.
Question
Tony
31.
M0TDK sent us
Yep.
these questions.
I've got these on the screen.
Oh, here we go. All right. So question 31 was when was the pocket scientific calculator first widely available? And the answer was D, 1970s. And in fact, he said around 1975. Well, I can remember. Can I just go back? Because I love to.
Yeah,
I love
we'll
Sinclair
go back.
stuff, and I can remember being about 14. I think I've said this on here before. And I ordered the Sinclair Scientific kit. I was a student, remember, at school. A high school student. And I was about 14, and I think we did take about a year to come. So that was around about that sort of time, 1974. Wow. Amazing stuff. Question 32, here we go. Decibels are a logarithmic measurement scale, but who first invented logarithms? And the answer was John Napier in 1614.
Did you spot Will Scarlett?
Sorry?
Did you spot Will Scarlett? A friend of Robin Hood's is item B.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Was
well, he
he?
probably wouldn't have invented those, would he? I'm glad you're on, actually, Tony, because there's a couple here which might be controversial, and I'm glad you're there to take the answers and take the flak. Right.
Okay.
Well, they're all wild guesses, really.
We've got some. I've missed a couple of answers. Look here, or a couple of comments from people at home on Facebook. We've got Paul Brooks said Phillips. I guess that was at some point. Maybe when we were mentioning tapes,
I think that's when we talked about
videotape.
tapes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, they were leaders in that. And then Tom, I remember Technicolor as well. They brought a tape system, but I'll go back to that now. Okay. Tom Miller says, question 25, dinosaur poo.
Oh, that was the Rasta-Tasta euphobia thingy.
and Drip 30.
Oh, that was the centipede one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
We won't ask for any more elaborations of that. Let's get back to the questions now.
Okay, this is number 33.
33, yeah.
Oh, you want me to read it? Okay, I'll read it. If you transmit using 10 watts, how many S points down would you expect this to be compared to 400 watts? And the answer is B, 2 and a bit. Okay, next one, question 34.
If you buy an antenna, which the manufacturer claims is 3 dBd, and you feed it with 100 watts from an almost lossless feeder, how many watts would you expect to be transmitting in CW, obviously? And the answer was less than 100 watts. And he's a PS, he put on the thing here, antennas do not amplify. Although we talk about the gain.
You can't get more out than you put in, basically.
No. Although they did talk about the gain of antennas, which I guess to anybody who's not looked at it closely, they may think that happens, but yeah.
Depends on the interest rate, Tony.
That's very true, yeah.
All right.
Trust Scotland to think of money, yes.
Oh dear. Trading insults now. Question 35. Engineers designing Concorde or the Apollo space program did not have PCs, so what did they use for desktop calculations? The answer was B, a slide rule. If we go to Tony, he's got one there to demonstrate.
Hold on a sec.
Well, not really.
Not demonstrate, but honestly, Tony, there may be people of a certain generation, like the person sitting next to me, possibly, who've not seen one. In fact, have you seen one of those? Seriously? It's a slide rule. It's called.
I'm not sure, really.
The light is reflecting off it, so you won't be able to see it.
No. Well, that's how we used to do things before calculators were common. And in fact, when I was at college, which is 75, 76, 77, that sort of time, the calculators were coming in, but they didn't want to disadvantage anybody who hadn't got a calculator, so we were still using slide rules.
All right.
Yeah. Isn't that right, Tony?
Cool.
Yeah, the early scientific calculators were very expensive. Incidentally, one of the Kobakan is a Japanese abacus, in case you're curious.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was, but okay.
It's a Japanese abacus.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks for all those questions, Tony.
Well, we haven't quite finished Tony's questions.
Oh no, that's
yet,
right.
Actually.
It goes on and on.
Excuse me.
Okay, this is question 36.
36, yeah.
What is the Roman numeral for 50? And it is L, which was answer C.
Question 37 was, what was the Roman numeral for 0? And that was?
None of them.
And that's because they didn't have a number 0.
No.
Question 38. If you fired an arrow straight up in the air, and assuming there was no wind, where would you expect the arrow to land? Would it be on your head, west of you, east of you, southeast of you?
It is on your head.
And Tony had a little note here, useful note, saying, you fool.
I thought it might go on the moon.
Oh, really?
Well, you never know.
Okay.
Good bit of luck and a fair wind.
That's the trouble, there's no atmosphere here. You read the next one, Tams.
Okay, you're on the ISS and you have your golf clubs with you. If you drove a ball straight downwards towards Earth, would it go down to the surface of the Earth, accelerate and climb into a higher orbit, slow down and then come back and hit you, or explode? And the answer is, I've actually put two answers
C or D,
in.
he
So
said,
C
yeah.
or D.
No, it should be B.
B, is it? Oh, you've told me wrong then on that one.
Oh, he said answer C or possibly D, actually. That's what I...
Well,
was that for a different question? Have you done
honestly,
a day?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that,
Right.
Tony. I'm glad you're here to correct it. But
Yep. So the answer is actually B on that one. So accelerate and climb into a higher orbit.
Well, okay. Well, you're the question centre. I'm glad you're there to answer it. I did mainly just copy and paste questions, but you know the arachnophobia I mentioned?
Yeah, I know. I just saw it run across
The
there.
clock, right.
Yeah, the slightly interesting thing about that is that
I'll go back to that one.
that when you're in orbit, you're already doing something like 18,000 miles an hour. So if you give the golf ball a little bit more speed going downwards, so it goes into a slightly lower orbit, it will actually accelerate, because the lower you are, the faster you go. It's a kind of strange thing about orbital mechanics. So a lot, you know, your first thought is it would fall all the way back to Earth, but actually it won't. It'll go away from you, and then it'll seem to accelerate and go ahead of you, and eventually it will go above you. At which point you may fly back into it, but that's another story altogether.
All right. Tony, well, thanks for that, and all of the questions that you sent us as well.
Yeah, I think you left a couple out, didn't you?
I did have. There was one. To be honest, there was one which was a.
It was about
I've got to
pi,
be careful about pi, which we
think,
mustn't
which we-
use. I think only one we left out. There were 9, but that was because someone else asked a very similar question. To be honest,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute, though. I don't want to talk about the question now because we're not quite there yet.
No.
Question 40 now. These came from Ken M0KJW. Which American bridge has a vault in its foundations which was used for many years to store champagne as it kept a constant and perfect temperature throughout the year? And the answer was the Brooklyn Bridge. Question 40, that was.
Okay, question 41. What was the name of the Greenpeace ship which sank on the 10th of July 1985? It was called the Rainbow Warrior.
I bet you that's one of those things. I couldn't think of it when I first read it, but once you hear it, you know, yes, that was what it's very infamous, sadly, for its very tragic thing to happen.
Yep, so
The
Rainbow Warrior.
Question 42. In 1985, which vehicle went from launch to ceasing production in just 7 months? Ken had added, I hope you get this one right, David, because it was the Sinclair C5.
And who has one of those still in their garage?
No idea. Move
Somebody
on.
I know. Question 43. The term SPF on sunscreen stands for what? It's sun protection factor. Sun protection factor.
Question 44. As of 2017, who is the current CEO of Ann Summers? No idea. But what is Ann Summers? I don't know.
He's that guy, isn't he? Who does the
That's right.
QCX
Ann Summers,
kit.
exactly. The QCX kits. But it's changed his name because it's now Jacqueline Gold, apparently. There it is, that above. We've got a tally light on one of the cameras now.
Oh, don't say
It
that.
might even walk across the camera. Now that would be pretty cool. It's on the camera
would-
too, which
it
is what
wouldn't
you're
be
looking
cool.
at for us now. So if you do in a moment see something crawling across, it's arachnophobia, and you have to
Oh
switch
no,
off.
Nev's just put something
Oh yes,
on the
look
screen.
at that. I'm not joking.
Well
though.
done, Nev.
I'm not kidding. That is right now, right near the lens of camera 2. Just in case you're wondering at home what happens. Right. Sorry, Tammy.
I'm
Thank
just
you very
gonna
much for all
watch it
those
now.
questions, Ken.
Oh, it's darting around.
I shouldn't have mentioned
No,
it.
you shouldn't have told me
I'm
it was
sorry
there.
about that. We're
Don't
now
be
around
like
to
that.
moving swiftly on to Nev M0NFY
Okay, I've got them
and his
on here.
questions. Okay, here we
Okay,
go.
question 45. Which is warmer, minus 40 degrees Celsius or minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit? And the answer is they are the same.
Brilliant question. Really good.
Okay, number 46.
Numerically, which is larger? 1 megabit or 100 kilobytes? And this is the answer. 1 megabit is larger, so that's the right answer. Because 1 million bits versus 800,000 bits, because there's only 8 bits in a byte. So it was really 1 megabit or 800,000 bytes.
I think that's wrong.
You think it's wrong?
Yes. If you said 1 megabyte, I think you'd be right. But a bit is just 1 bit, isn't it?
That could be my typing, to be honest with you.
No, well, that was copy and paste.
Oh,
I
was
think.
it copy and pasted?
No,
Let's go to the man who set the. No, that is. Let's go really, really at home, Tammy. We've got. There's only one way to sort this out. Go on, Nev. Tell us.
Well, there's 8 bits in a byte, so if you've got 100k, you've got 800,000.
So 1 megabit is 1 million bits, isn't it?
Yeah, one megabit is 1 million bits. It's just that a lot of people think there's 10 bits in a byte, and there's not.
No. Tony?
Well, when I started, there was 6 bits in a byte, but we won't go into that.
Oh, Ebsedic and all that. Right on, man.
You know what they're talking about?
No idea.
Large systems.
I wish Zoom had this feature where you could just put 2 people together and. But anyway, okay. Well,
We can go into a chat room.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I blame the wine myself.
I think it looked right to me, I must admit. Although we've had lots of questions.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I'm just not paying attention.
No, it's no problem, Tony. It's all right. It's important to get these right, even though we're having a lot of fun as well. Thank you, guys.
Yep. So the answer then is 1 megabit is larger. That spider is now on our output TV.
Right.
So just got to keep an eye on it.
Well, at least it's not going to appear on their camera.
No. Okay, the next question, which is question 47. Which is the closest to the value of pi? Is it 22
over 7?
Over 7? Look, the spider's run across that. Or the root of 10. And the answer is 22 over 7 is closer.
There we are. There's your answer. How many did you get? We got that right. 22 over 7.
Okay.
Question.
I think
Go on, Tony, just jump in.
Tony's waving at us again.
Tony?
Back to you.
Oh, sorry about that. Do you know who first said 22 over 7?
No.
Archimedes.
Right. So that's how old that technology is then?
Yes, I mean, well, obviously people knew about it a long time ago, but Archimedes, in one of his tracts, I mean, I don't read Greek, said that it was somewhere between 22 over 7 and 223 over 71. And it is. But anyway, it's been around a couple of thousand
great.
years,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, we're on question, I believe, 48. And this was from Paul G3VPT, these questions. What is the impedance of a half-wave dipole in free space? What is the impedance of a half-wave dipole in free space? And the answer is 73 ohms.
Okay, question 49. I have a 7 megahertz dipole and no ATU. What other band can I use? It's 21 megahertz. Is the answer?
Okay, so I'll resonate on 21 as well, I guess is the answer. I'm not. We haven't got another answer here for that or another explanation, but I think that's the answer. Why and why? Question 50. 6 dB represents plus or minus 1 S point in a receiver. I'm using 400 watts and given the signal report S9. So if I lower it to 25 watts, what report should I expect? And the answer is S7. So from S9 to S7. That's the answer to question 50. And the next question is 51. I'll read that if it's all right, because that's my question. From the 1970s, what was the company CPU Limited better known as? And it was Acorn. It was called CPU Limited because their first jobs when Hauser and Curry got together was actually developing a computer system for not slot machines. What do you call the one-armed bandit type things? Those sort of machines. That was what they were commissioned to do. But when they were going to introduce a computer, they thought that Acorn was a much better word. What?
The spider is on my desk. Oh. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that,
You can
Tammy.
continue talking.
Okay. You can go to single camera if you really want. Oh dear. This is going to be an interesting evening. I'm not boring you, am I, at all about Acorn and stuff?
No,
anyway,
it's all right.
that's it. So it was
I'll just
Acorn
go
is the
to
right
you.
answer. Okay, we'll go there while my wife leaves the room, I think. Okay, I'll carry on. Question 52 was from there's several questions now. 3 from Kevin, M0UJD. She really is going. What are you doing?
I'm going to get the spider catcher.
Right.
I can't sit there with it.
This is the first time in doing this for heaven knows how many programmes now that we've ever had to leave, I think. Never mind. I'll carry on.
Time to put a test card up, David, and cut your losses and just go, hang on, we'll be right back. Yeah.
we will be right back. I'm not frightened of them, but I'm the spider catcher in our house. Right, Kevin M0UJD sent us these questions. The Americans have an extra band to us that they call the 1.25 metre band. What is the frequency of it? And it is 220 to 225 megahertz. That's question 52. I'd love to go back to that question. What is arachnophobia? Is what my wife's got right now. Question 53. The 4 metre band is now more popular than ever, especially in our area. What is the FM calling frequency? And it's 70.450. Go on, put it on wide shot. I've got to see what you're doing. You just can't see it. So we've lost the spider. That's the tragedy here.
The spider has done a runner now.
You've never been seen stood up, I think, here either. In all these programmes.
Trousers on, look.
Thank you. Yep, that's enough. Right, question 54. What frequency is the 13 centimetre band? You are really freaking out, are you? Sorry. And the answer is a 2.3 to 2.4 gigahertz. A friend of mine, you know, was presenting in a studio in Salford, in the new one, and there was a huge scream, and she left there because there was a mouse that ran right across the control desk.
Mouse wouldn't worry me.
No, it wouldn't, would it? But anyway, a little tiny spider. Anyway, that was a question of. Thank you, Kevin, for those questions. I'm without a director now, so I'm on my own. Jim, excuse me, Jim G3YLA sent us these questions. Question 55, what is the summer solstice? And any of these answers are okay, he says. It's a day of maximum potential sunlight, maximum tilt of the Earth's axis towards the sun, the start of astronomical summer, and midsummer, but not temperature-wise. So it could be any of those answers, you'll get the point. Might be under a director control in a moment. Question 56, what date was the summer solstice this year? It was June the 21st, which was Monday, I think, wasn't it? Just a couple of days ago. At 03:32 UTC, which is interesting, so there's an actual time. Oh dear. Wish you could see what I could see, but we haven't got cameras behind us. Oh, she's trying to catch this little spider now in a humane spider catcher. You've got to put this on widescreen, look. Tammy, look. I've got to show so that we know we're not making this up. There's a little spider here. Can you see that?
Is it on the outside of the catcher?
I know. Tammy's been trying to catch it in this bug catcher. It's now hanging on for grim life.
Don't get that close.
And it's now got.
Blurred.
It's now.
Right, just give me that right quick.
Can't I just pop it inside?
If you want to.
I didn't really expect this evening to end like this. Right. Just so it doesn't crawl up my arm and completely freak you out, I'm going to put it in there.
It's on it again.
Oh, it's on it. All right. Sorry about this. There will now be a short commercial break. Oh, now it's running over the computer and I've lost it. Sorry about that. Tammy, we must get back on track here. These people have got something else to do. It's 20 past 9.
My voice go quick.
Composing myself here. 57. What is? Do you want to just show everybody that you've actually got it?
No. I just want to get rid of it.
We've got it. It's okay.
It's a very elaborate way of proving one of the answers right.
Yes. Yes. You're right, Ralph. You're right. Do you realise we record this, Tammy, and we put this up on YouTube? And normal programmes have now been resumed.
With a bit of notice, I would have got a clown to come round and knock on the window for you, but yeah.
Hello, everybody. Oh, my microphone's not up. There we go.
Hello. Are you there?
Just had a short break
You've got a mic cut in. Yep. We're plugged in. Right.
What question are we on?
Doesn't matter. 57. Can to calm yourself. Have a drink. What is... This is question 57. What is meteorological summer? and it is June, July and August, mainly for weather and temperature characteristics. Question 58. What does solstice mean? It's from the Latin derivation when the sun, sol, stands still or is static, sistere, i.e. stops its apparent northward movement. Which camera are you on? I'm over there now. Right. These are all from Jim, G3Wale. And 59. What is the UK's highest maximum temperature? It is, or was, 38.7 degrees C on 25th of June 2019 at Cambridge Botanical Gardens. In whole degrees, 38 to 40 degrees is 1 point, or if you've got 36 to 42 degrees, it's only half a point. There we are. Let's go to Jim. Let's see. We haven't spoken to him yet. Let's go to you, Jim.
Yeah, okay. I'm transmitting on my spider beam here.
Don't mention it. Please don't mention it. No. You mentioned it once, but I think you got away with it.
Okay, she didn't notice. That's good. Yeah, well, that temperature record, I'm sure, will eventually be broken. But that was a particularly hot spell of weather, and this solstice. I don't know if any of you saw the weather forecast on the television a couple of days ago, where they compared the maximum temperature on the summer solstice, which was, as you say, Monday, and the maximum temperature on the winter solstice in December last year. And the winter one last year was warmer than the summer one in some parts of the country. So it's incredible.
Wow.
So I thought I'd do a set of questions about solstice.
It is amazing, isn't it? And Cambridge not being very far away as well. We must have had that pretty hot here on that day as well.
Oh yeah, we'd have been in the mid to high 30s. Yeah.
Dare I say, and this is
for those of us who are over 35, what is that temperature in old money?
That's quite a big number, Ralph. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It's going to be 90, 98, 99, is it?
101.
Oh, is it 101, is it? Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a lot. I wouldn't like that, personally. I'm not a big fan of it myself.
No. Well, you would know, Jim. I mean, this is a terrible thing to do as well. I bet you get it asked all the time. Generally speaking, as you're on, what are we looking at? When is summer going to sort of get a bit warmer now? Do you know? I know you look at the charts every day, but...
Well, not especially so, because the problem is our flow, the pattern is such that we're getting slack flows from the northwest or the north. So it's unlikely to bring any real extreme heat, which is a good thing, really. If you start to see patterns where you get an elongated southerly all the way up from North Africa, then you could start to get the sort of heat that would set those records. The other thing, incidentally, I don't know if you know this generally, but it depends a lot on how dry the soil is. So very moist soil behaves a lot like the oceans, which transmit the heat very effectively down through a depth of the ocean water. So sea temperatures take a long while to warm up and a long while to cool down. So if you've got dry, sandy soil, like in Breckland, just up the road there, you tend to have air gaps between the tiny particles of sand, which is a good insulator, and therefore all the heat from the sun, the solar radiation, is trapped in the very thin top layer of sand grains, so you get much higher temperatures. Whereas when the soil is wet, and particularly on clay soils and so on, there isn't this air gap between, so you have a much better heat conductivity down to greater depths. So you get the same amount of energy in from the sun, say, but because the ground is moister, it distributes that energy through a greater depth. So the actual temperature rise at the surface isn't as great. So with our soils out there being fairly moist at the moment, you also would have another reason not to expect it to get too warm.
All right. Well, yeah, and I'm with you as well. I don't like it too hot as well. But anyway, Jim, thank you for that very impromptu little forecast or telling us exactly where we are with our weather. And thanks also for all those questions. Thanks a lot. Okay, we're on the last lap now. I think we're on question 60, which was yours, Tammy.
Yep.
Your question. So
mine.
Go ahead.
Okay, question 60. What is the colour of an aircraft black box? And it is actually orange. So they can actually find it.
I knew it wasn't black, but I didn't know which colour when we talked about this earlier, didn't I? So, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course there are two of them.
There are two of them, Tony's saying.
Oh,
as
really?
Well. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's the cockpit voice recorder and the data recorder. There's two of them.
Cool.
Okay, thank you. Question 61.
Okay, question 61. What technology was named after the nickname of Denmark and Norway's 10th century king, Harald Gormson? And it is Bluetooth. It's something to do with he had funny teeth or something. I did look into it. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 62. Which invention is often credited to radar technician Douglas Engelbart in the 1960s? And it is actually the computer mouse.
I always thought that was a Xerox thing, you know. It was a mouse. And Apple licensed their technology. And IBM did. Anyway, I don't doubt your research.
No, it was to do with his research
Okay,
first, I
yeah.
think.
That's probably the first application was actually used for real.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
it's
probably.
Marvellous thinking.
63. Which high-strength material, which was first used as a replacement for steel in racing tyres, was developed by Stephanie Kwolek in 1965? And that was Kevlar.
Might have got a clue a bit from her name, maybe.
Kwolek.
Yeah. And finally, this is the question of
This is the question of the
so
night.
we've got proof of this one. How many stamps are used to post a bamboo seat with a magazine rack kit from China to Norfolk? That's a very obscure question, you've got to admit. But we've got a very special reason for asking it, because for your dad, you ordered one, didn't you, for your dad? We should just tell the story before we show you. And many months ago,
About
through
3 months ago.
Amazon, I think it was, wasn't it? An Amazon, so it was one of their Amazon sellers or something. Was it Amazon or someone else?
No, it was
Anyway,
someone else. Can't remember now.
from China, as these things. There was nothing available in Britain locally or anything like that. We don't normally wait this long, so we had to wait months and months and months. And about a week and a half ago, this parcel finally turned up.
Oh,
and on the side of this parcel, which was about this big, I don't know if that makes sense in TV terms, but you know, reasonable size, was, we could see through a clear plastic packet, was this, to look at that. Now look at all those stamps, and they've all been franked. You can see in the middle, they've been franked in multiple times. So yeah, do you want me to hold that up here? So there we are. You can see all those stamps, and they're £1.20. Now that's pretty impressive, and they were in a pocket outside. But that wasn't the whole story. Because if you wrote down, if you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 by 7, that's 70 stamps. So if you put 70 stamps, no, we don't think that. Because when we open this plastic packet, was another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. And
I've lost some.
have you really? I think we might have two to get together. In total, the answer...
There's some more. There's just a small amount. I'm not sure where they are, but there's 21 on another sheet of an Olympic.
This is for real. Can you imagine all that in a plastic bag? And it would have covered the whole box. And there are in total 441 stamps, which is amazing, isn't it? You can't really believe that that was the only way of paying, that they didn't have one big stamp or something like that. But anyway, bit of fun, but really happened.
Yeah, amazing.
Incredible.
All those stamps.
It was amazing to open.
It's a bit of a waste, really. I mean, we wouldn't do that in this country, would we? We'd just stick on one of those funny stickers with an amount on it.
Yeah, they're a bit boring though, aren't they? But to see all those stamps on there.
Do you think somebody actually licked all them?
I don't think so, because they're self-adhesive, look.
Oh, are they?
They peel off, I think.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that's the end of the quiz. 64 questions.
Okay, so there was... I think there was 2 questions... Oh, no, hang on. We think... Both of Richard's questions were double points,
yeah.
they?
Well, I think we just need to find who's got the most points. So, if you got more than 50 points, can you put it in now? 50 points.
I think it's 66 is the total.
Yep. So if you've got more than 50 points, raise your hand at home. People who can see, there's only 8 of people there. So if you're on there, We've got someone putting their points on there. We're just trying to get the easiest way to find out more. If you had more than 50, put that down. 22.5 we've got here. More than 40. Put your hand up at home. Oh, Bob. He got more than 40.
He got all his phobias right.
He got the phobias right. Okay. So how many did you get, Bob? Let's go to Bob now live and ask you how many you got, Bob.
Well, I want to know on 55, will the longest day count as being what is the summer solstice? Is the longest day?
Well,
if it is, I've got another point which makes it 51.
Jim, tell him whether that counts.
Yeah, I can give you that one, I think. Yeah.
51 points?
51, yeah.
Wow, okay. Anybody beat 51 at home? We've got people, John Goldsmith says 29.5 points. Phil Hillier's got 36 points.
Yeah.
I know, I wouldn't have got that. 51, can anybody beat 51? I can't believe it. I don't think we need to go any further.
No.
I think Bob is our champion.
Yeah, it's all there. All there.
Well done.
Of course, it does help, and it's not that you were
let's go to
cheating
you.
in any way, but the whole point, and when we advertise and market this quiz, of course, is the fact that you can ask your own questions, and that must have helped you along a little bit, Bob. But incredible, anyway.
18.
Yeah,
18
absolutely. But
question.
that is up to people, and we read every question except there was one duplicate, which was about the pie. And they both had 22/7, I think. So we just felt that was just too close a question.
we took one out, so
well done to Bob, and well done to you at home.
Oh, hang on. Going to Bob there.
Yeah, let's go to Bob.
We've got G8 VPE has got 42.
Oh, well done. That's very good.
There.
Yep, John GVP has got 42. He's watching on BATC.
We've got, did you
at the
say
moment.
Phil? I can't remember if you said Phil has got 36.
Yeah, Phil.
And then
Tom has got 27.
27. So let's come to you at home.
Yeah,
there,
let's.
and
everybody on Zoom now. How many did you
tell
get?
us
Don't
what you
worry,
got.
it's no shame.
22 and a half.
Okay.
I had 33.
Excellent.
33, well done. 34 up there. Just
30
pipped you
for
there.
Ralph.
No. Ralph, what was yours? Ralph? How many? We didn't quite see that.
30.
30, well done.
Excellent.
Jim?
29.
29, brilliant. All right, all round. I think they're all
Steve,
really
we
good
can't
marks.
see your piece of paper.
Steve, can you tell us how many?
Yeah, I got 25, and Carol got
29 and a half.
29
Well
and a half, but she
done.
must have cheated.
Excellent.
No, she didn't cheat at all.
Sonny, I missed how many you had.
42 for me.
42.
Oh, well done,
Excellent.
Sonny.
I knew most of the phobias. The last two I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
So
There was actually two that they never give out, which were good as well, because they were
Well-
very hard to pronounce.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was, to be honest with you, it was just to try and get a bit of balance. We tried to sort of think about these things taking no more than 2 hours, and we were looking at how many questions, Bob, and we just felt we had to cut a couple from yours. But it was no reflection on them. It was just that there were a lot of phobias. So we decided just to cut a couple. But there were I don't think anybody else, we cut any ones except that duplicate question.
Just the duplicate question. Yeah.
So it's well done to all of you, though, for taking part. As always with these things, I think it is the fun in taking part. Thanks to my wife for the cabaret in the middle, which I certainly didn't expect.
Nor did I.
Oh, dear.
Tammy, there's a spider behind you.
No, there isn't.
Oh, yes, there is.
yes,
It's actually on her hair.
No.
Oh, look at
No, I don't want to look at Nev.
Nev has got one on his head at the moment.
Oh, dear.
All right. Well, anyway, lots of fun. Thank you. Michael 2E0S said, please just put up. You got 35 and a half, so very good. Well done to all of you. But honestly, well done to all of you, both for taking part and for contributing. Because honestly, they say when I was a kid, you know, my mum used to tell me to go and amuse myself, and that isn't always the easiest. But the only way tonight worked is if you had contributed all such fun, great questions and played at home as well. So thank you to everybody for entering the questions and for taking part at home. We'll give one just half wave to everybody at home, should we? And say good night to you guys. Thank you very much again for joining us. And we hope we will do another replay. Pardon?
I've awarded myself a nice bit of chocolate.
Oh, that's all right then.
Dynamite. My goodness, look at that.
Chili chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
That's the one.
Well
Lovely.
done. All right. Well, thanks again to everybody at home. Just to tell you again what's happening this week at the club, we've got GB Terrace News at 7 o'clock on GB3NB on Sunday. On Monday night, 28th of June, we've got the Monday Night Net at 7:30. And at 8:30, we've got the 80-metre CW Net. And on Wednesday, the 30th of June, here in a week's time, that 999 Emergency with Steve G3ZPS, a really good light-hearted talk on the history of public safety communications from the Victorian age through to the 21st century. And all the other regulars, and don't forget to please send us your stories, pictures, maybe, dare I mention, spider stories?
No,
or anything.
please don't send any of those, because I'll have to be the one that puts them on the computer.
We will get the place fumigated before we see you next week for NARC Live. But until then, we hope you'll take care, look after yourselves, and we'll see you then. I think you're going to home for a stiff drink, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
So from Tammy M0TC.
Bye-bye.
And from me, David G70OP. Take care. Goodbye.